Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Ken Smith and I struggle with obesity, and I'm okay finally admitting that because I no longer want to struggle. And in my last video, I simply told y'all that I'm letting go of the rope. And so with that being said, I'm in my first week at trying to have a lifestyle change and eat properly and hopefully live a little bit longer and be around for my wife and my family and my children and my grandchildren. So in this first week, I decided I was going to fast. And I decided that for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a believer, and so I looked at it from a faith aspect and the benefits of fasting on a faith aspect, but I also looked at it from a health aspect. And so that all being said, there are three things that I want to cover with you about fasting and how it might propel you into conquering obesity. Now, that being said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a health expert. I was a personal trainer. I was a certified personal trainer, but that was 25 plus years ago or around there. So I have some basic knowledge. But the internet is our friend. And let's be honest, there's lots of information that's out there. The key is, are you willing to look for that information and sort through it and decide to make a change? Because that's the key thing here. You have to be willing, just like I am, to finally let go of the rope and make lifestyle changes. And so that's what my fasting has been. Now, I've been fasting for 3 days at the time that I recorded this. At the time that I post this, I'll be on my 4th day. I'm not too sure exactly how long I plan on fasting, but I'm not fasting to lose weight. That's the key I want to mention here. I'm not fasting so that I can drop a ton of pounds. In fact, to be honest with you, I can lose weight fairly quickly as far as shedding those first 10 pounds. But after that, I've struggled. And I've struggled my whole life doing that. So I know that fasting isn't the cure, if you will, for losing weight. Fasting has a much superior form, and there's, like I mentioned, there's 3 things that I want to share with you. Those 3 things are improved metabolic health and insulin sensitivity. Number 2 is reduced systemic inflammation. And number 3, enhanced motivation and psychological reset. Those are the 3 things. I'm going to expand on each one just a little bit more. So let's get at it. Now, again, I want to emphasize that the first thing that you should do before doing any kind of fasting, exercise program, nutritional change is to check with your physician. That's exactly what I did. So prior to beginning my fast, I actually had blood work done and reviewed essentially by 2 doctors. And those 2 doctors pretty much confirmed that I didn't have any health issues, that the problem with my overweight, the problem with my obesity wasn't health related. It was what was going in versus what should go in here. Okay, so I realized that. I also realized that I didn't have a lot of motivation. I truly didn't want to let go of the rope. And for years, I've hung on to that rope. So again, check with your doctor. Make sure that everything is fine. I did that. So that being said, let's talk about step number 1, the improved metabolic health and insulin sensitivity. So as we get older, we already know that there are issues that, as far as our metabolism goes, that it starts to slow down. That's just the nature of the beast. That's part of getting older. It doesn't mean that we just give up. It just means that we have to look at things from a different lens. So by fasting, you help your body manage blood sugar more efficiently. Now, there's a ton of research about that, and depending on what your blood sugar levels are or what they're not, again, your blood work will reveal an awful lot of that. And you can ask your physician the best way of going about that. But by abstaining from food, the body depletes its glucose stores and becomes more sensitive to insulin, the hormone that transports glucose to the cells. So this metabolic switch to burning stored fat, which is also called ketosis, for fuel, helps to regulate your blood sugar. And it helps to regulate the blood sugar levels, and it can significantly reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome. Now, fortunately, I don't have type 2 diabetes, but if I continued down the path that I was on, I was certainly going to get there. I was on the bus, I just didn't get to the destination yet. So again, talk with your doctor, talk with your physician, see exactly where you're at. But this is one of the major benefits of fasting. It's just that reset to your sugar levels, your blood sugar levels, okay? That brings me to point number 2, which is reduce systemic inflammation. Now, I don't know about you, but I suffer from joint arthritis. And I've suffered from that for well over a decade. And so in my 50s, I got some serious weight on, and arthritis started to develop. Inflammation became a serious issue, and to the point to where I actually had a stem cell injection done on my left knee to avoid having surgery. Now, part of that was sports related, but the other part was definitely food related. And so by fasting, you help reset this issue with inflammation. Now, chronic inflammation is linked to a host of serious health conditions, such as including heart disease, cancer, rheumatoid arthritis. Fasting has been shown to decrease several markers of inflammation in the bloodstream, such as C-reactive protein. There's plenty of research out there about that. This reduction promotes better overall health, and it may improve symptoms of existing inflammatory conditions, helping the body prepare for a healthier state. So don't discredit addressing your inflammation by fasting and getting that body to reset. Now, there's other foods that contribute to inflammation. Things that, as an example, bread and what's in bread just accelerates inflammation. So if you're removing glucose from your diet, it's actually a good thing. But again, fasting helps to set those, helps to reset, I should say, those types of issues. Number 3, enhanced motivation and a psychological reset. That is one of the benefits of fasting, and probably for me, the biggest benefit. A short fast, say 3 days, can provide a strong psychological boost that helps with long-term dietary adherence. And I can't stress that enough. When I quit smoking back some 25 years ago, what helped me was fasting. I actually went, I called at that time I was living in Colorado, I called the Colorado Quit line, and I was afraid of putting on weight, which I used that as an excuse for years for smoking, but the reality is I knew I had to stop. So I called the Colorado Quit line because, again, I was at the end of my rope. I was willing to finally let go. And that conversation led to a 3-day fast where the only fluids that I was taking was cranberry juice. In fact, I had gallons of it sitting inside the refrigerator, and my wife was absolutely shocked. She was out doing a mountain climb with her brother, and I needed to be away from her and away from everyone because I knew that the nicotine that was in my body was going to create a lot of frustration and a lot of quick temperament, and I just didn't want to say things and be hurtful and have to deal with that. So while everyone was gone, I just kind of did my Mad Max, if you will, at home, and I went on a 3-day fast. And that 3-day fast was kind of a detox fast. Now, that could be a reason why you're fasting. I don't know. But that's what I did in order to kind of detox, but also the psychological and motivational reset that I was going to need. Now, the initial noticeable results, such as rapid weight loss from reduced water and glycogen stores, can provide a moral boost, and it demonstrates to you that significant changes are possible. Now, I'm not saying that they're not, but don't fast for the only reason that I'm going to lose a bunch of weight, because as soon as you come off the fast, well, if you haven't done the right motivational and psychological resets, you're just going to go back to the old habits. So during your fast, replace something with your meal. So for me, I'm a Christian and I spent time in prayer, I spent time in reading. And a scripture that I just wanted to grab onto during this whole walk is John 8:36, which is, if the Son sets you free, you are truly free indeed. And so I've really grabbed onto that because I want to be free from food. I know that food is one of those things that you have to have. And certainly as Jesus walked this earth, he not only ate, but he created food in the form of miracles. And so it's a necessary component in order to live, but it's not necessary to overeat and overindulge. And so for me, fasting is going to help break the routine of horrible eating habits, and it also allows for a mental reset, which is helping me and you reflect on your relationship with food and potentially making the transition to new healthy eating patterns and help to feel less daunting and more sustainable as you go through your walk. So I hope that helps you. Y'all have a wonderful day and y'all be blessed.